Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. Prediabetes does. With early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test today. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
I know you're going through a lot. I wonder if you know that we can get help. Let's see how far we can go. Love, your mind.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. But only you can prevent wildfires.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Hey there, Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon here. Welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 10 as we have had obviously a very rainy day and more rainfall on the way. Luckily, most of those showers are done at this point. We expect to have a lot more as the pattern remains pretty soggy for the next couple of days. Not completely washout territory, thankfully, but we'll have plenty of chances. So yeah, the rain is mostly ended this evening, leaving in its wake some patches of fog. That could be your impact for tomorrow morning in some locations out there. More widespread rainfall is around for tomorrow as we anticipate, again, these showers kind of popping up. The overall pattern, just we have the right amount of lift. That'll help us to produce some of those thunderstorms. And from time to time, a couple of strong wind gusts are not impossible there. Hot and humid weather will reign, though, throughout and even into this upcoming weekend. If we try to turn the rainfall down a little bit, we don't have a lot of improvement even then. So this is our camera and pod talk. If it looks unimpressive, it should, partially because you just can't see out of it because that humidity is so high. That dew point coming in low 70s, 75 degrees, the latest update there in pod talk, but there's enough rainfall that I think that might have to do with the different location on where that site is versus where it is there. As we look at the next 12 hours, again, not impossible to get a couple sprinkles. We'll look at where those are at on Mississippi Live Weather Radar here in just a couple of minutes. But again, it's a very limited coverage of rainfall throughout the overnight hours. If we see anything at all, down to about 72 for that low temperature. So in many cases, only dropping a couple degrees between now and then before we start building into tomorrow. Mid 80s by late morning and rain chances starting to pop up into the afternoon. Looking again, Mississippi Live Doppler radar here across the region. Lots of showers earlier on, a good chunk of the evening. A lot of thunderstorms that kind of worked their way up here into Tennessee. This was that batch during our 5 and 6 o'clock broadcast. I'll make this a slightly longer loop here for a moment, make it a 6-hour loop. We talked about how we kind of had that zone there that we were watching, and that's actually what ended up happening. And the reason I pointed out, it's not like mostly it's just the fact that, to give you an idea that this is the kind of way this sort of works in this atmosphere. You had the rain cool there came together and then drove these thunderstorms. A lot of heavy rainfall through Boonville, through Florence. We've had some reports of potentially some trees causing some damage to some structures out there. Still working to confirm that information. There were some strong wind gusts potentially out of this. A lot of times when you get kind of that kind of convergence, that happens. But not a lot of those sort of reports. More than anything, what we had today, it has been the rainfall that has been the story. We'll look at some of those rainfall totals here in a minute. We do still continue to have, even as of the 10 o'clock hour, some isolated showers in and around the Kosciuszko area. Looking at a 1-hour loop on this, you'll notice that even that coverage there diminishing at this time. You know, this time of day we just have less heating, so showers typically fall apart. And certainly that is what is happening here at this instant. Though we do have a couple that are trying to get a little closer there to Noxapater in the last few minutes. Those are still pretty weak. I guess we could put on storm track on those. Again, not moving particularly quickly there. I'm going to put that only about 15, 20 miles per hour. So Noxapater, about 10, 24 for you if that kind of holds together. We're watching in cloud cover down here from Macon. Checking out that camera there in the Macon area. And I'm trying to remember if I can get that in this situation to pop up. Still learning the system. Yeah, it doesn't pop up when we're kind of zoomed in on this. Unfortunately there. So we'll go wider on this and look at those rainfall totals. And again, that's a big part of what we have had happen here today. Again, in some cases, the rainfall totals have been extremely significant. And that's what happens in these just kind of heavy events like this. So most of those where you see the yellows up there closer to, say, Boonville and stretching back toward the New Albany area, leading to some street flooding in some locations in and around there. So we show about 2 inches of rainfall there close to the Concord community. And up here when you get just kind of east of Rienzi, up estimations in excess of 3 inches. So some decent rainfall totals from what we ended up seeing there today. And that was fairly common across the region. So looking at the futurecast going into the overnight hours, I've widened this out to show you that kind of on the regional scale here, doing a good job of capturing the storms up there in the Tennessee. So I do think this is doing a pretty good job of realizing what the storm coverage is out there. And you can see there's not a lot of activity between now and 3 o'clock tomorrow morning, as we're more dry, obviously, than wet. Nearest front is all the way up here toward Missouri. That's still a long distance away, so not expecting that to be a huge impact for us. A few showers, though, back showing up in Senatobia, back toward around the Sledge area, looking toward around Holly Springs potentially for early tomorrow morning. But 9, 10 o'clock, of course, we're dry. It's going to be midday before we start to see a better chance for a few showers popping up like that one we show there closer to around Duck Hill and also up toward around Holly Springs. And then obviously becoming more plentiful, even 1 o'clock, showing quite a few more of those. So as we look at the next 24 here from 6 a.m., again, we're 71 to begin your day, 87 by noontime, rain coverage of 20% at that point, all the way up to 60% by 3 p.m. The thinking is that most of these storms will probably be below severe limits, but that 1 or 2 could kick out a couple of strong wind gusts there. Around the 90-degree point, give or take a couple degrees for high temperatures, and rain chances diminishing somewhat as we go into tomorrow evening as storms kind of move from west to east through the area. So coming up here in 60 seconds, we will break down the rest of Futurecast and time out where those rain chances are the greatest. We're also looking at the cumulative 2-day rainfall totals, and I think it does a great job capturing just how spotty these storm chances are. That's coming up next as Mississippi Live Weather at 10 continues.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lawpon.
Hey, welcome back here to Mississippi Live Weather at 10. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon. The spotty nature of the rainfall makes kind of future estimations for any specific spot in this situation a little bit problematic. That's a long way to say, hey, listen, the rain chances may or may not come out for you. In spotty storms, that is the case. Good example here. You can see how we show the reporting stations we have across the region and then how much rainfall the individual spots came up. And you see a lot of spots where you have zeros or trace. Even New Albany at 1.27 inches. I guarantee there are some of you that live in New Albany are like, huh, way more than that. And that's the way this kind of ends up working is, Greenwood's a perfect example. You see that orange there just to the west of town. That's more than 3, almost 4 inches in the last 24 hours of rainfall. Same kind of story there in Kosciuszko because obviously a lot last night. Louisville as well, also quite a bit today. So really spotty rainfall totals, the big story of the next couple of days. As you can see here, looking at the estimations on how this kind of goes from here. And you'll notice how we have some reporting stations like that one near Amory. Well, that's just south of a much higher total. When we look at our totals between now and Thursday at 2 p.m., some spots where we show lots of oranges, but there's a lot of holes in this map. So while, yes, the rain coverage is up, maybe 50, 60% now, and then Thursday. The likelihood is that you're going to see rain in quite a few spots, but there's also a pretty decent chance a lot of us don't. So it is not widespread everybody rainfall. It remains pretty spotty. Our hour-by-hour forecast has us with around 73 at 7 a.m. We're 87 degrees by noontime and 88 for the afternoon for tomorrow at 3 p.m. Peak temperature, probably about 2 o'clock. and in many cases around 90, and then maybe dropping just a little bit. That rain-cooled air kind of spreads through the area. Of course, it knocks it down a little bit. 81 by 7 p.m. Rain coverage diminishing a bit more as we look toward that point in time. Here is a look at Futurecast. A big takeaway you'll probably notice is most of the storms diminishing into the evening. That's what we expected to happen. That's what is going to happen again. And certainly that's what Mississippi Live Weather Radar was showing a little bit ago. Some showers out here into Arkansas, trying to move in the story overnight. But again, really anything we see should remain fairly light, though a few more of those getting out toward Helena, West Helena, back toward around Clarksdale and Olive Branch and Memphis by 6 o'clock in the morning. Low temperatures tomorrow morning down to around 72 in Tunica, 73 degrees in Clarksdale. We're 71 in Grenada and about 72 Starkville, Macon, and Aliceville. So here are those rain chances. Looking at the latest data of that HRRR model. This is one we typically use in kind of the short term. Spotty storms wreak havoc on all our projections. So let's just be clear about that. But those rain chances, as you can see, primarily northwest portion of the state and continuing to kind of increase maybe a little bit, starting out there toward Clarksdale around noontime, spreading there, Clarksdale, Helena, back out toward Memphis, and one or two that are still popping up in our area. Now, these are not huge storms, but if we do come in a little closer, I think I want to point out more than anything, not necessarily the size of the storms, but the fact that you do get them fairly heavy. So strong gusty winds as they collapse, a possibility on an isolated scale out of some of these thunderstorms here with a slightly greater quantity of those back out toward Clarksdale and Cleveland and Sardis back up here in the western portion of the state. But watch how those do start to move in and congeal. And the thing is notice how we have very consistent west to east movement on this. In that scenario, sometimes they can organize, kick out a few extra wind gusts. So I think most of the storms will probably not be wind damage sort of producing thunderstorms if they can organize into somewhat of a line that in a very isolated fashion could produce maybe that one or two stronger wind gusts. And certainly this is our greater coverage, 50, 60% at 3 p.m. That's why that temperature starts dropping by that point as we have more of that rain-cooled air available and moving around our region. You'll notice here still 5, 6 o'clock, a few of these still showing up fairly heavy as, again, some of those showing up closer to Smithville, Amory, Aberdeen, as well as out there toward around Hills Chapel and back out toward Duck Hill by around 6 p.m. tomorrow. So again, rain chances do continue into the evening. High temperatures will go 90 in Greenwood. Hey, the reason this is pegging out at 87 there, Clarksdale, 88 degrees in Cleveland, is because we anticipate obviously those thunderstorms to develop there a little more quickly. And so into the afternoon, a little bit of rain-cooled air. Cross our fingers. We need it. And this is as cool as things will get the entire extended forecast because of the kind of earlier day arrival and some of those rain chances there. And the heat indices, yeah, as we progress through the afternoon, you see that clock ticking away at the top there. From time to time, some of those could cross the triple-digit point, but most locations a little bit lower than that. A good sign there. Now, looking at our exclusive strike model here, which is what we use going beyond really the next 24 hours, we do continue to show, again, some lingering showers into tomorrow evening. I think it could be underdoing the storm chances just a little bit there, but diminishing again 9, 10, 11 o'clock into tomorrow night. And clouds and likely, again, some fog probably redeveloping by the first part of early Thursday morning there, but we start Thursday dry. Now, Thursday, as we head toward 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning, already starting to develop a few showers. Remember, that's one of our greater quantities of rainfall. We have a couple things that we're kind of monitoring around the region. First off, we still have that shear axis loft. You know, that kind of zone. I'll draw on here for a moment. We just kind of have that zone where we sort of have, you know, the stronger lift aloft. It's just kind of in this northwest to southeast, nice and messy there. Northeast to southwest direction. And so that's just kind of that extra focal point to help us produce these very disorganized showers and thunderstorms, right? To clear that off for a moment. So that's one of the factors we're looking at. But we also still have kind of a mid-level ridging that's occurring, kind of that the ridge of high pressure sort of building in from the east, and that will eventually start shutting off some of the rain chances, but still not the dominant feature. And obviously, as you mentioned, that front that's just taunting us more than anything else coming in from the north. So as we progress toward your Thursday afternoon, as we anticipate by kind of mid-afternoon there, we'll have some thunderstorms starting to pop up, show a few around Tupelo and Amory. This particular version of Futurecast is a little bit less aggressive. So I'm going to look at a different one here in a second. It's a little more aggressive to show you, but between afternoon into the evening, just not really depicting a ton of activity there. So I'm going to force this model. If you give me a moment here, we're going to look at a slightly different one. So I'm going to take this out of play. I'm going to take it where, you know, you have a few more things popping up here, but I want to force this model into the absolute newest one of that HRRR that I like to show a lot. That you're probably going to get used to me showing a ton. And so that model, you'll notice still, as we kind of pick things up here Wednesday afternoon, has a lot more in the way of some rain chances that are trying to pop up. I need to force this into, instead of latest, let's go to 0Z. There we are. Okay, so again, those are those afternoon thunderstorms on a Wednesday. And then by Thursday, notice a few thunderstorms even a little earlier on in the day, with kind of a greater quantity of those by midday and into the afternoon. Again, a lot larger quantity, 5, 6, 7. We run out of data by 7 p.m., which is the reason we typically kick it out there. But I'll be honest, this is a little bit less in the rain coverage than I expected. So I think keeps us in that 50 to 60 60% range, probably during that time period because of that. So kind of good sign there if you're hoping to have maybe not an extreme amount of rainfall. I think a lot of us, some of the gardens need a little bit of it, but we've just had so much this year that I don't think there's a ton of people griping about that. Upper 80s, low 90s for those high temperatures on your Thursday, and heat indices again adding a few more degrees to that. So hour by hour forecast on your Wednesday. Again, we're about 60% on that rain coverage for tomorrow. I would say, looking at the latest data, I'm probably overweighting tomorrow's rain chance at 60% versus what we have there looking at the chance by Thursday. So 73 in the morning, and those lines there on that little icon there of the sun, a reminder there will be some patchy fog out there. Build in a few extra moments for your morning commute. Obviously, low beam headlights, you'll be in good shape. We're 87 degrees as we head toward noontime and 90 for the high temperature tomorrow afternoon. 7-day forecast here, we're 89 as we look toward Thursday. We're 91 degrees by Friday, 94 by Saturday. Those temperatures going up as the rain chances come down slightly. Now, I'm still sitting at 50% here, and I might be overdoing that rain chance just a little bit. I just know this pattern sometimes doesn't break down super quickly, so I don't want to oversell a breakdown in the pattern before it actually does. As you can see there, looking toward Monday, Tuesday of next week, rain chances do start to diminish somewhat as that overall long wave, large scale ridge of high pressure starts to break down for us and across the area. So that is your forecast here at 10 o'clock on Mississippi Live Weather. I'm going to double check our discussion back and forth. So many of you do enter our chat and have lots of things to say, and appreciate you for doing that. Folks down there in Noxapater, Corinth, we're happy to see y'all today. My yard is getting dry from all the hot sun, says someone there. So again, it's the patchy rainfall out there that it's hard to one size fit all on whether or not we want rainfall. It looks like some folks out there still definitely do want to see some of that. Okay, well, 1L says that the yard likes the rainfall, so we are liking rainfall, it seems like, as far as this is concerned. Appreciate y'all in Ryanzi, Pontotoc there, New Albany, Okolona, Amory showing up. Even got somebody talking from Fort Worth and Deltonia, Florida. So, well, hi. I'm glad to have you all watching this evening here on Mississippi Live Weather at 10 o'clock. So with that in mind, I think we'll probably go ahead and shut things on down here as we leave you. I'm going to come back over to radar for just a moment as we kind of pop that up. There will be, again, some isolated showers that we are watching that could potentially roll in overnight. There's no severe weather threat with what we have tonight. I might as well just kind of end by showing that while we have, again, some pretty decent rainfall chances next couple days. Severe weather threat for tonight is all out there toward locations back out in Oklahoma and Texas for tomorrow, for locations not here, and same thing as we look into your Thursday. In saying that, obviously we've had some historic flooding for locations back in Texas, some tragic loss of life that goes along with that. There have been a lot, this is just to show you, yes, we've had some patches of rainfall here, but nothing really compares to what they have out there, where again, if I just, query this on our map, some of those spots, you're talking almost 2 feet of rainfall. So one of the issues that they've continued to have rainfall and flooding issues back out there into Texas for the last few days. So obviously our prayers are with them tonight as they continue to try to recover. It's nice to see that it does look like the majority of those flood alerts are no more. I want to double check that here because I'm going to kind of populate this in with something else. Now we do still show some flash flood issues. I don't know if that's going to let me just kind of pop that on there. I'll force this to do something else for a minute. But yeah, looks like a lot of those are doing better tonight. But obviously some tragic things have happened out that direction. So our prayers are with them as we go throughout the next couple of days. So that's going to wrap it up for Mississippi Live Weather at 10. I'm going to do something that I will probably never do again. Hand me a little girl over there. And I bet it's going to key out. I bet buckets of money. So I had to pick my daughter up from play practice there a little bit. Anyway, she's in a play, Mary Poppins. Oh, look, it's kind of keying out, which almost makes it look a little bit like Sky. Probably won't do a whole lot of this, but it is my daughter, and she was super excited. And you're not going to spend a lot of nights up here with me, so I appreciate that. But anyway, her play's coming up next week. So, so there you go. More information, Lyric Theater in Tupelo, and there's a phone number on there. So yeah, is that good? You happy? She's been dancing around the whole show. So anyway, okay. So we will see you all tomorrow as we continue to monitor what will likely be a pretty rainy forecast, flooding rainfall, again, a possibility from time to time. And our prayers are with those folks out there in Texas. I know that God will take care of them, and certainly we wish them, not just wish them, we pray for healing in this moment. As I know it's going to take a lot of time. So, okay, we'll see you all tonight. Tomorrow morning, I should say, well, of course, updates here on the Mississippi Live Weather Channel. And I should also mention, obviously, thank you so much for all of you that have downloaded the app. We're about 95,000, almost 100,000 downloads at this point here. And you guys have been hitting the app up so much that I was talking to the person that helps host the video for the app. And one of the things that they mentioned was just, we're talking about millions and millions of views of the stream, in particular on the app. And this just far and away exceeds anything we ever could have imagined. So I just thank you so much for everything that you have done with that. And I'm going to go ahead and click that there, little girl. Okay, apparently she is ready to move on. So hold on. The black box over the live radar showing my location is annoying while I'm watching maps in motion. I'll have to look and see what exactly you're talking about there, Dean. Again, if you have comments, send them in using the app. We will continue to try to evaluate and make things better. But thanks for watching us here from Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
One in 10 kids vape. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Talk to your child about vaping today.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. But only you can prevent wildfires.